Welcome back, everyone. Lancescurv here. I wanted to talk about this crazy world that we're living in. It seems like you can go back decades and find people in the media, find people in the world saying, wow, we live in a crazy world. But you know what? This world is getting crazier and crazier and crazier. Why am I thinking about this right now? Well, the reason being is that there was a story forwarded to me from a couple of days ago in Kissimmee, Florida. That's right below Orlando, same area. I know it well. There's a Checkers restaurant, a fast food joint, right? And it was a 23-year-old young, 23-year young, not anymore. He's still alive, but he's not going to be free. 23-year-old black man who worked at Checkers at the drive-thru, and there was a customer who wanted an extra pack of mayonnaise, an extra pack of mayonnaise. And somehow, some way they got into an argument. I'm going to post a link below so you can get the details. I'm not here to discuss the super details. I'm just here to discuss why it has gone from point A to point Z over a few seconds. Well, the bottom line is he climbed out of the window, the Checkers employee, and shot the customer who wanted to have the extra pack of mayonnaise. Shot and killed him. They got him. But my question is, you're 23 years old, you're working in Checkers. Why are you in Checkers working in this fast food joint, which all work is edifying, and you have a gun? You go to Checkers to work to get into gunfights or feel you need a gun? The thing is mental health. When I was 23 years old, I was happy-go-lucky and having a whole lot of fun. And the world looks so different to me than the way it does now to some of these youngsters. Even though he is a grown man by law, to me, he's a youngster. And it makes me wonder about the state of mind of everybody all over the world, but more so in places like America and the UK, because those are the acknowledged epicenters of advancement and things are so nice there. No, it's not. This is not going to turn into the I'm going to bash America channel every day. But I'm here to tell you that the grass is not greener on the other side. Now, millions of people move about in their life and don't get caught up in things like this, but you're closer to a lot of stuff that you see every single day when you are in America. And if you are born there, you're conditioned to deal with it better, because it's like putting the frog or the lobster in the water that's not boiling and turning the heat up. All of a sudden, it doesn't even notice how hot it's getting. But when you go there, then you have to see certain things as opposed to what you are fed as far as propaganda is concerned. It can be quite a shock. But even for me, one who prides himself on pretty much seeing it all, and that's not really something to brag about. Why should I have lived in a world where I got a chance to see it all? Because trust and believe, you don't want to see it all in real life, in person. You don't. It can leave you a little touched. And thank the Creator that as much as I've seen, I'm not cuckoo and crazy in the head. But I'll tell you one thing. Even when you think you're not stressed from living in a stressful environment that you don't think is stressful, you might think it's a little stressful. When you're removed out of that atmosphere, that place, you'll see how much comes out of you, right? Me here in West Africa, Ghana, there's still things coming out of me, stress-wise. Now, I'm not a person who walked around stressed. I'm just using that word because we all can identify with it. But I'm sleeping better. I'm eating better, living better, and of course I'm retired, so I don't have to have all that stress of, if I don't want to leave the house, I'm not leaving the house for one day or a couple days, right? I earned that, and I'm surprised, not because I'm surprised at me, because I know I have the strength to deal with it, all those years living in America, but I'm just saying this overall, like, wow. Wow. And I'm glad I'm away from all of that. You know, the last good amount of years that I lived in America, I drove a bus, public transportation, right there in the street. And when you're right there in the street, you're dealing with it right there in the street. Nobody prepares themselves to say, well, I'm going to act civil. I'm going to act mentally stable when I go out there. People are getting on your bus that they're not always there. I've seen people time and time again, not every day, but just lose it. Just flip out. They blow a fuse. Do you want to live in an atmosphere like that? And if you are living there or in a place like that, why don't you get yourself checked out? And that's our problem. Many of us who are melanated, well, I'll be all right. I'll be okay. Nothing's wrong with me. We're not saying nothing's wrong with you per se, but something can be misfiring. Do you get rid of a car when it needs a tune-up? Oh, my car needs a tune-up. I'm hearing some knocking noises, things are messed up. I'm getting rid of it. No, but we need tune-ups. We need vacation time. We need to have a perception of how our life is going as opposed to a never-ending volley of work. No downtime. It should be balanced constantly. Like with your diet, when you eat food, if you're eating proper, clean food, healthy food, natural food, it's self-cleansing. You clean out as you eat, as opposed to the stuff that stays in you with the chemicals and the toxins, and you begin to get sick because you're putting in stuff that's not doing you any good. Do you get rid of your body? I'm going to commit suicide because I need to clean out my gut. No. You check yourself out. You get tuned up. And many people in America, I mean, you kill somebody over an argument. I guess maybe he didn't want to give it to him, or I don't know what happened, but it involved a packet of mayonnaise. Now he murdered somebody. When is he getting out? We got to think. And also, from the flip side, those of us who do have more of our sanity intact, what do we have to do? We have to also understand that people around us, we don't know who's on the edge ready to snap. You can't try people. You don't know. I say 95% of most men mouth off, right? And I think so. They want to save face. They want to be macho. They want to, they're watching these movies and they want to be tough guy. Look, even a little person can whip out a pistol and shoot you. You don't know what these next people are going through. So just don't rock the boat. Sometimes, not to be a punk, but you're going to have to take a little bit. Try to lean toward that more. Because to lose your life over a pack of mayonnaise, I mean, and this guy has a gun. I've seen many people getting off my bus. They run from the back to the front, the doors are opening, and the gun falls from their waistband. Oh, sorry, driver. Yeah, I'm like, yo, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. And people say, well, that's not the patriotic thing to do, the right thing to do. You should have called and had him identified and get him locked up. This guy runs off. I never saw him before in my life. But he knows me, and I'm in a captive space. The big bus coming down. Just wait for the bus to come on, turn back around, and hey, there he is. Boom! You get locked up and you describe me to somebody else, one of your homeboys, and they come for me. I'm not scared, but I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. To live in this world today, you have to be very shrewd. And one of the things that we often make a mistake in is judging something by its surface appearance. And people out here, they're not trying to be tough, but people got bills to pay. They're short on their bill money. They might have caught their mate cheating or suspect something like that. They may have a health issue and not enough money or coverage to take care of it. People are stressed. People still have pride. Their pride is broken. They're embarrassed of certain things. Men want to feel like men. Men want to righteously rule their domain, right? There are a lot of men who don't get respect in their homes. And now you go mouthing off at this person in the street or in public transportation or the fast food restaurant. And guess what? That's all they can take. They can't see beyond. This is why it's important that we see beyond the confines of our own little narrow reality. I'm not putting anybody down and saying, oh, it's little and it's narrow. No, but our perceptions can oftentimes become shrink-wrapped, where we see just our little world and we don't see beyond. And once you know that it's a big world out there, and try to expand beyond your world, even normally, when you have time off, if you have time off, instead of going down the same route to go to the supermarket, go down a different street and see something different. Instead of, if you have the luxury of going to a concert, go to listen to some music that you're not used to listening to. See something different. Expand your world. Because I've noticed, and this is my own personal observation, that many of the people that I've known that have lost it temporarily or in a major way, they felt confined. And another thing I've noticed, and I've said this on other shows and programs, that when I remember I was in Times Square. This had to be, I was 14 years old. It's the first time I saw this. So this had to be 1977, right? That was the year of the blackout. And this was after the blackout was finished. It was a big thing too. So I found myself down there. I was young, but I would go down to those dangerous areas and wander and look around. And, I'd do the legit things, restaurants and go to the bookstores and stuff. But I'm not going to say I love the streets the way it would sound now. Yeah, I love the street, like I love the street life. No, I don't do the drugs, never sold drugs, never used drugs, I protected myself, right, with my fists. But I used to love how colorful the streets were, especially Times Square, where you saw all of the decadence, all of the tourists. It was rapid fire. You're discerning spirits. You're seeing things. And I saw a man, an older man, right? He walked right past me. And when he got maybe 10 feet behind me, he started screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm like, this guy didn't seem like the kind of guy to just break out screaming. He started screaming at the top of his lungs. He's looking around and he started saying, oh my God, all this sex, all of these sex demons, oh my God, all of this sex. Because in that part of Times Square, there was nothing but martial arts movies and adult X-rated, triple X-rated movies that you can go pay $2 or $3 for, go in and watch, right? And those theaters in those days in Times Square, before Giuliani came and so-called cleaned it up, which he messed it up, you can go in those movie theaters and they were running 24 hours. And so homeless people would go in those places. Just to add this in, they pay the $3, they beg, they get some food, fast food, pay the $3 and go and sit in the back row of these movies and sleep as long as they wanted. And then come out and forage for whatever else that they wanted. So you have people that were living all different types of lives and you didn't know when they were going to lose it. It's not just a Times Square thing, 42nd Street, but a lot of those things you'd see, but it was spread out all over the city. So when you get to see these things, and that guy who started screaming, I went off the story, I forgot to tell you, he starts peeling off his clothes. He starts taking off his clothes, ripping off. I'm like, this guy, I couldn't believe it. People stopping there looking. He wasn't being violent to anybody, but he was freaking out. He overloaded on the decadence that was there. Maybe this is a guy that grew up in a small town, clean, Main Street, USA, and all of this stuff. And he found himself down there at an older age, and he didn't vibrate with all the decadence that he saw, because trust and believe, I have seen a lot of decadence. So when my eye catches something, and it's something, trust me, I know what it is. It's not like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'll tell one story. We were walking around Times Square, since I'm talking about Times Square. This was actually on 34th Street. I think it was, if not the country or the world's biggest post office, it was like maybe the United States' biggest post office. I'm not sure, you can correct me on that. Huge. So me and some friends of mine, I think we had parked the car and we walked down the street. And it's around 34th Street, but it was maybe 33rd, 32nd, because that place was big. And they had the big 18-wheelers to deliver the mail, and they were there. This is a 24-hour operation. This is the main post office for the city. All of the mail came through there. And we were walking, and we're seeing some prostitutes walking around. And back in those days, you know, they were healthy. There wasn't any crack out at that time. So these women were voluptuous. And of course, we're young guys. We're like, whoa, look at that. So we see a mailman, but in the back of one of the trucks that were parked, just leaning back. And there was a prostitute on her knees servicing him. And he had the uniform on. Like, how do we process this? This man didn't get afraid that he would lose his job. So when we went maybe to get something to eat, we came back that same way. We saw the same mailman with a different woman getting the same act performed. I bet he never missed any days at work. But still, like, what is reality like for you, buddy? You got a really good job and you're out here playing games like that. But you see all of this stuff. You see people that do little things to each other, step on the toe and whatever. Oh man, you know, you didn't apologize. They don't even say that no more. They want to fight. And the guy that stepped on the guy's toe, so what? I'm not apologizing for nothing. So what if the guy whips out a gun? That's the reality. At least here in Ghana, from what I've seen, you'll see guys bump into each other, knock something over, and they're, oh, sorry, brother, sorry. They're not really gonna go out like that. I've seen guys arguing. I've seen guys that drive the vans and they're picking up passengers and they're loading up their vans. And one guy seems like he cuts the line and they're in each other's face, yelling and screaming. I'm like, this wouldn't have went on that long if this was New York City. They would have been on the ground rolling around punching each other. Mental health, atmosphere, how you live your life, how you see your life. Why are we on the edge, especially with certain things? Why are we touchy about certain things and other things we have thick skin on? We got to self-evaluate because that might be our downfall, right? We got to know how much goodness that we have in the tank, meaning that good feelings and good memories and the hope of a better life. And no matter how bad things may appear, that it can go up. And like right now, you know, I'm feeling good. I want to thank Customado, my life coach, for walking me through certain things and keeping my spirits up and the good things that have recently happened for me, right? And things will be a test to you sometimes. But we worry about and concern about our physical health, those who do, because many don't. But on the mental, how are you feeling? Check that. Because lots of times we get involved in situations that we could have just stayed cool and gone through, but we made something else happen. Look at this kid, 23 years old. He's not coming out no time soon. With that type of temperament, when he goes to prison, because that's a sure thing, that's going to change everything for him. This gangster mentality, this ready to fight mentality, this ready to, I'm going to prove my manhood type thing. So what did you prove? When chances are they might go, when you get up there, they might take your manhood. Even though what most people don't understand, they watch these prison movies and most of the men are giving it up. It's not even so much, I'm going to take your backside. A lot of guys are giving it up for donuts and cookies and commissary, and they might have had that in them if they have a lot of time going on. They, well, Mom, I also just going to do this. They had that in them. But you're going to be tested because you got some diesel, buff dudes who don't fit the narrative of what you think a gay man is. And you might have to deal with that person. You might have to, don't get in an altercation with them. They may spite you on a power trip take your manhood. You don't know what can happen when you wake up. Look, I've always said this before. The day you transition, let me just say it the harsh way, the day you die, chances are you don't realize you're going to die that day unless you have some terminal illness, unless there's something wrong with you that you know that it might happen. But even when you have a terminal illness, you got to understand these who are walking around healthy, you're saying, oh man, I got this terminal illness, I'm going to go soon. They may go and get in a car accident. They may slip and bust their head in the bathtub and break their neck. I'm not trying to be gory. What I'm saying is that you don't know what the next day is going to bring. But the day you leave here, chances are you won't know. So why live life? Look at the life expectancy, and I'm 62 years old. People call me, say, hey man, you getting up there, won't be long. Well, you want me to, you got an insurance policy on my life or what? I'm not thinking about it. I might live for 2 more hours. I might live past 100. It's not for me to think about. There's no fear here, right? Because if you live in fear that way, you won't maximize the energies put forth during your life to build your own personal legacy, which may not mean anything to anybody else. But as you live life, whoever you touch, whoever you affect, whoever you vibrate with, you live on through them because they can reflect your light. Look, you have parents, you have mothers, you have fathers, the people who raised you. And let's just say it's parents. Doesn't have to be, but let's say it's your parents. And they've given you so much wisdom, so much understanding of this world. And when they transition, you have brothers and sisters around you. Now, brothers and sisters are not always perfect. They don't always speak to each other. They always go through different things. We understand that. But the bottom line is, you now reflect the light that your parents gave you. If they gave you light, you reflect that. So it's just like when you're in public and you see 3 or 4 children, brothers and sisters sitting there, and they may be in single-digit ages. The parent may be close by, but you don't know which one is the parent or parents. And they're so well-mannered. That's the reflection on the parent that did the right thing by them. They're mannerable. They know how to relate. They're polite. And when they come back around, those are your children? I got to tell you, those children you have are so well-mannered and so polite. How about that kid there that shot the guy over the mayonnaise? What was his beginning like? What was his perception of the world? Was his reality shrink-wrapped? Was his world just going to Checkers and getting his little bit of money and hanging out with whoever? You got a gun on you, man? I understand the mentality. I understand those who feel they live in the jungle and or maybe he's threatened or whatever, but there are ways of doing things. And if you're at the edge like that, you need to check yourself, because many people don't understand when they are close to doing certain things. There have been times I've been provoked greatly. And when I was younger, I was always quick. I wasn't a bully, but I was always quick to, the 1 or 2 times I shouldn't have. I could have been cool and just say, hey, you know what? Let it fly. But I had to defend myself also. And I'm not going to let anybody put their hands on me. But the bottom line is, you have to check your mental health, know where you stand, talk to somebody. You don't have to go to a hospital and check yourself in and just say, don't do nothing stupid, y'all. But I'm finding that more and more, the youngsters, the folks that are younger, are hitting a ceiling. They're going past a certain level where they're doing things that they can't take back, and that's no good. You have a long life. Listen, me at my age, I'm looking forward to my best days of creativity, my best laughs. I'm looking forward to that. That's what keeps me going. Even when I'm down, I know that you can get down but so low before you come back up, but there's certain things you're not going to come back from. And I don't want to put myself in that position. So Don't be like that guy who killed somebody over a packet of mayonnaise that he could have given. The guy wasn't wrong to ask for an extra pack of mayonnaise. And I'll put that link below and you can see the details of everything. But it is a crazy world we're living in. And we're not seeing reality as we should. We're too much into this phone. And we're being affected by what we see over and over and over. Usually we wake up with the phone next to us. And the first thing we do, I'm going to just be real. You got to pee real bad, but you're looking at the phone. Go pee. Go put the phone down. Have a quiet moment with yourself. Check yourself. Just like when you do a flight check, an airplane. The plane just landed, it's in perfect working order, but they have to check everything to make sure at every stage. Just because you were feeling good 2 days ago when you were hanging out with your friends doesn't mean that you have symbolic demons from within that you need to deal with. You need to be able to see the world the way it is, or on the upside. Because the way you think, you will attract darkness to you. You will attract evil to you. If this guy didn't have a gun on him, what was he going to do? So he helped his mindset when he said, I'm going to put this, I'm bringing this gun with me to work. Why would you do that? Chances are now you're going to find a way to use it because you know you have it. Unless you are responsible, and we're not talking about just taking it to work or check. I know this guy didn't have a license for that gun. But if you are in law enforcement, everything's legal, you're trained, you know how to handle situations, you know how to de-escalate situations. Because most people talk about guns and they have no clue. I think it's funny. I think it's very funny. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to get off my chest. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, but I will come every day. Anything you want me to talk about, let me know. I'm always open for different topics, no matter how deep it is. And I challenge everybody to say, hey, whatever topic you want me to talk about, I'll talk about it. I'm not going to, oh, no, I can't talk. No, not here. I will talk about it. Bold, raw, and uncut. Anyway, much love, or salute to my brothers. Much love to my sisters. I love your brothers, but I got to salute you because, you know, I love the sisters a whole lot more, right? Anyway, Lancescurv out. On to the next one. Thanks for vibing with me. Peace.